Tourism in Egypt. Pyramids of Giza. The last surviving wonder of the seven wonders of the ancient world, the Pyramids of Giza are one of the world's most recognizable landmarks. Having awed travelers down through the ages, these tombs of the pharaohs Cheops, Khufu, Khafre, Khafra, and Menkaure, guarded by the enigmatic Sphinx, are usually top of most visitors' lists of tourist attractions to see in Egypt and often the first site they head to after landing. Today, sitting on the desert edge of Cairo's sprawl, these megalithic memorials to dead pharaohs are still as wondrous a sight as they ever were and an undeniable highlight of any Egypt trip. 2. Luxor's temples and tombs. Famed for the Valley of the Kings, Karnak Temple, and the Memorial Temple of Hatshepsut, the Nile-side town of Luxor in Upper Egypt has a glut of tourist attractions. This is ancient Thebes, power base of the New Kingdom pharaohs, and home to more sights than most can see on one visit. Luxor's east bank is home the modern city, with its vibrant souk, the two temples of Karnak and Luxor, and the museum. The west bank's lush farmland and barren cliffs are where the vast majority of Luxor's tourist attractions sit, with so many tomb and temple sites that it has been called the biggest open-air museum in the world. Spend a few days here exploring the colorful wall art of the tombs and gazing in awe at the colossal columns in the temples, and you'll see why Luxor continues to fascinate historians and archaeologists. 3. Cruising the Nile. Egypt is defined by the Nile. For many visitors, a multi-day cruise upon this famed waterway that saw the rise of tea. Cruising the Nile is also the most relaxing way to see the temples that stud the banks of the river on the route between Luxor and Aswan, plus sunrise and sunset over the date palm-studded river banks, backed by sand dunes, is one of Egypt's most tranquil vistas. The two famous sites on a Nile cruise are the Temple of Kamombo and Edfu's Temple of Horus, where all the big cruise boats stop. If you'd prefer a less crowded and slower experience, though, and don't mind roughing it a bit, you can also cruise the Nile by felucca, Egypt's traditional lateen-sailed wooden boats, which also allows you to create your own itinerary. The vast amount of cruise boat itineraries depart from either Luxor and Aswan, but feluccas can only be chartered for multi-day trips from Aswan. Even in a country festooned with temples, Abu Simbel is something special. This is Ramses II's great temple, adorned with colossal statuary standing guard outside, and with an interior sumptuously decorated with wall paintings. Justly famous for its megalithic proportions, Abu Simbel is also known for the incredible engineering feat carried out by UNESCO in the 1960s, which saw the entire temple moved from its original setting to save it from disappearing under the rising water of the Aswan Dam. Today, exploring Abu Simbel is just as much about admiring the triumph of this international effort to save the temple complex as it is about gaping in wonder at Ramses II's awe-inspiring building works, itself. Diving the Red Sea. Below the Red Sea surface is another world as fascinating as the temples and tombs on land. The coral reefs of the Red Sea are renowned among scuba divers for both the soft corals on display and the vast amount of sea life, ranging from colorful reef fish and nudibranchs, to sharks, dolphins, turtles, rays, and even dugongs. For divers, the most famous town to base yourself in is Sharm el-Sheikh on the Sinai Peninsula, closest to the reefs of Ras Mohammed National Park, as well as the reefs of the Straits of Tiran. To dive the sights of the Straits of Gubal head to Hurghada or El Gouna on the Red Sea coast, while advanced divers should check out the resort of Marsa Alam, the nearest base for diving. Egypt's deep south dive sites. As well as fish life and coral, the Red Sea is a major wreck diving destination. The most famous wreck is the Thistle Gorm, a British World War II cargo ship that was on its way to resupply Allied troops when it was bombed by the Germans in 1941. Today the site is regarded by divers as one of the top 5 wreck dives in the world due to the vast cargo of cars, motorbikes, and World War II memorabilia that can be seen both scattered on the seabed around the wreck and inside the ship itself. Dive boat trips to the wreck are organized from both Sharm el-Sheikh and Hurghada.